Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Mumu and I'm a self-taught artist. Today I'm gonna be basically doing a fan art of Sabrina. So Sabrina, the one I'm doing is from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's a Netflix TV show. It's from the screenshot that I chose is from season 3. You guys are going to be able to see it in my video as it goes through. So my task for this video that I've been working on is to recreate the exact scene / sort of mood of the screenshot. You can always tell me, like, please leave in the comment like how can I improve things better, because this is more like a challenge for myself and how to better understand a scene, the lighting, the shadows, environment. So we're gonna get on with it. And hey guys, so as you can see here, I've chosen this screenshot because it has a lot of dark tones as well as like the way the light hits. Right now I'm just like opening all the layers I'm gonna use, and I tend to use a lot of layers, which some people don't use a lot. Some people use only 2 to 3, which is like amazing, honestly, but I'm not at that level yet. So first I'm gonna sketch out like how I see her in the screenshot. I did show the screenshot in like my app, but now I actually have it pulled up on my computer, so I don't have to keep referring it like being in the way of my illustration that I'm currently doing. So yeah, I'm going in to do Sabrina first, and usually I just, when I have like a idea of what I want, and because this is a screenshot, I kind of just go for it. If the sketch looks all right, I just tend to just flow with it and usually just clean up the lines a little. I do kind of struggle with the whole different textures. There's a lot of challenges here, so most likely this could be an unsuccessful video. It is an attempt to do my best at it. Always doing like the best I can. Hopefully you guys will be able to look back, and me as well, and see how much I did improve or I didn't improve, which means this will be some tough year to really like get at it and accomplish more proper artwork. So yeah, I did make her bigger as you saw earlier. It's because usually I try to start out small. I don't do a lot of close portraits just because I'm not really comfortable with it yet. So there's a few things that I'm gonna be readjusting as the video goes along. Yeah, so right now I'm just drawing in the eyes, moving the canvas around to see close up, back up. Some people tend to say don't zoom in right away because you need to read the whole image, which is kind of true to get the feel, but I feel like right now I'm not completely zooming in too closely. As you can see, I'm struggling with the nose. I always struggle with the nose and eyes because that, well, for eyes especially, because it's like the windows to your soul type of thing. But the nose also gives a person their characters as well as their faces. So here I'm kind of, the mouth is going to be completely sort of different from the screenshot because of the vibe I kind of want to give out. It is supposed to be a recreation, but at the same time, like, Sabrina in my mind is like confident yet happy and determined. So this is from episode 1 from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina season 3. So if you haven't seen it, it technically shouldn't really spoil anything, but if it does, you have been warned. Yeah. So what I love about Sabrina is that she is a half witch, half mortal. In both the animated series that used to play when I was younger, and also there was a different live action I think it was just called Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So basically, she's obviously a teenager, just like in this show, and she's a half witch, so she feels like she is really good with mortals, humans who don't have powers, but she also is special because she is a witch. Clearly, I keep saying that. But basically, that's kind of what makes her special in both the animated series, the live action before that, like the live series before that, and the Chilling Adventures now, because she fits in both while being not completely fitting in. So I kind of really love her for that, because when I moved to America, I was young, so for me it was easier because I was like a little kid. It was easier for me to adapt, and compared to my mom, at least, who was older, she felt like she was completely out of place. But for me, I kind of blended in because I went to first grade starting in America. I didn't really feel that different. I knew, like, yes, I was bilingual and I had both cultures, and I would go back and forth to my home country and America to visit family. So I kind of relate to Sabrina of having, like, in a way, two lives, because it's like two different cultures in a way. Like, she's a mortal and a witch, so it's sort of like that, as well as how you have similar to, like, you eat differently, things like that. So for me, watching Sabrina, just the animated series, maybe when I was younger I didn't really understand, but I loved it a lot because it made me feel that being different wasn't so bad. It made me special in my own ways. Like, even my name, I hated it initially because no one could say it right and they would just butcher it. I would constantly have to correct them, and people didn't do it on purpose. They just didn't know how to pronounce it. It's not part of their, like, the American culture. Like, my name wasn't like Samantha or Emily or like Amanda. Like, my name wasn't that easy, so it was hard to say for them, both my teachers and my classmates. But eventually everyone got my name right, and it was great, and it was awesome because I learned to love having a different name, because I think we had like 3 Samanthas in my elementary school, which is, if your name's Samantha, it's awesome. Good for you, because I was pretty jealous at that time. So now I like having a unique name because it's kind of part of who I am as a person. So I feel like that was, for me, watching Sabrina and embracing her love for mortals, like her human side, yet loving her powers and witchy side. Like, that's awesome. As I was talking, you can see I've finished doing the background. At this point, I was still unsure if I'm still gonna do the whole background. I was thinking maybe as I go along, I just don't do the background at all, even though I took my time to do a rough sketch of it. So that's what kind of I was contemplating as I was outlining Sabrina. Another thing that you're gonna see is actually, like, as I outline, I wasn't fully 100% set on her eyes, because the actress for Sabrina, her eyelashes aren't that thick, but they stand out really well. So if you see the eyes change as it goes, that's why, because I wanted to capture more of her instead of just completely fully putting her sort of in my style. This is more like my style of this. I think I mentioned that. So currently I'm just outlining the sketch layer, and as I said before, my sketch layer and my outline is basically a cleaner version. I tend to usually, like, if I have something, if it's already set out, like the screenshot, like, it's easier for me to capture what I want to have shown, sketched, outline. So usually, even if it's not like that, but I already know what I want, I kinda don't, like, my sketch is pretty much what's my outline gonna be. That's just how I am. Maybe it's because I'm impatient. I don't know. That's just my approach to what I do, and it's working for me right now. I don't mind it. Usually the thing I struggle with is the hair, because there's so much different like hair strands you kind of want to show and not want to show. So yeah, like I was saying before, Sabrina was a big part of my life growing up as a child. The story plot itself was very interesting, and when this one came out on Netflix, like the first season, I wasn't sure if I was gonna watch it, just because I already watched the other two and I love them so much. I didn't really know how much better this one will be, and I'm so glad I gave it a chance. Like, the actors are amazing, the story is amazing, everything's just really well done. If you're a hater and you don't like Sabrina or the story or whatever, like, too bad for you, because I love it. I don't know, I can't say how much, like, it was just really good, well done. And usually I'm not into like horror, anything scary, but I guess they did it in a way, or maybe I'm just getting old, that I kind of didn't mind all the characters, even though some of them looked super creepy and I definitely could have had nightmares off of them. But it was really well done, and everything's just super thought out. Right now, this part of the video, as you can see, it's me using a drawing assist that Procreate has. That's the app I use, because I have an iPad and I only use Procreate for here, as well as like another app, but I'll talk about it later when I do use it. So it has a assist that you can symmetrically draw, which is what I'm doing here. It was actually my first time ever using it, so it was kind of weird when I was drawing to see it reflect exactly the same thing. I was just not used to it, so basically it was odd, but it saved a lot of time and it was pretty symmetrical. So this was me outlining the throne, if you saw episode 1. Well, the background, sure, the background. So basically this is me going back and redoing her eyes. Like I mentioned earlier, I kinda decided to thin them out more, because while still showing she has them, the actress. So I kind of like the way the eyes turned out the second time. There wasn't like a huge adjustment. It was mainly the eyelashes. I just kind of felt it more natural with these eyes, but I always keep the old layer, just because I never know if I want to like go back and undo them. So I always keep things separate on separate layers, so it's easier for me to to keep organized in a way. Even though I don't label them, I already know my process, so it's easier for me to find and go through it. I did thin out her eyebrows because I wanted to give them more of a shape instead of just bushiness, if you know what I mean. Because her eyebrows are thick, but I definitely wanted them to have a better shape. So this is what I mean, like the face kind of is the eyes and the face is the window to a person's personality. So I did decide to go back and readjust some things by moving it around. Yeah, so this is where I kind of decide to do I start like in a grayish colored background, and then I start color picking to choose what skin tone she would have. Originally I went with like a red, and I kept going lighter and lighter in a way, because I was like, well, if you saw the episode, you know where this is happening. So I was like, maybe I should just go with this skin tone. I don't know. As I go through it, you will see how I color block everything. I usually have everything separated on different layers and just go through with it. Skin is always like, for some reason I put it as my second top layer, and then the face, like eyes and everything, would be on the very first layer. I think I like to block it that way because it's easier for me to color things in later. I don't know how, like, I just came up with it, and that's what works for me. If you watch like other speed paints, people might do it differently. They might start from clothes and then go to skin, so it's easier. But I don't know. This is the easier method for me. If you have a different type of way you like to draw, please leave a comment. I would definitely like to try out some new techniques, because it's always fun to learn new things. This is kind of where I was looking to figure out what color eye she had, and I did not know this whole time as I was watching this series that she had black colored eyes, or maybe it was like dark brown, because her eyes would like have a nice shimmer, glisten, or whatever. So for me, that was kind of like, oh, okay, she has black eyes. I thought they would be blue or something because her hair is so blonde. I just assumed, but no, her eyes were black. Maybe that's why they stand out so much, because her hair is blonde. The reason why I'm not going in with a super light blonde like her hair technically is, and using this color, is because I'm gonna try and bring out the shine as I go throughout later in the process. I'm just blocking out her hair here to eventually like go back in and work it. This is me just color blocking the whole, like her whole outfit, and basically her as a whole. So yeah, that's basically my current process. I try to kind of stick within, does that sound right? Yeah. I kind of try to stick within the same color palette, like really close while looking at the reference. I don't know if that sentence sounded right. If it didn't, can you guys let me know how to properly say it? Because, man, my English is not on point right now. So, I just color blocked her, and I forgot that I didn't do her hairband, so I just colored that in. Basically, I would just look to see if this is really how I want her. That's why I keep moving it back and forth to see, is this really what I want? And as you can see here, I'm doing a bunch of clipping layers, and I'm using soft light. So I tend to like to use soft light because it's one of the layers I kind of heard other people sometimes use. Maybe a lot of people use multiply, and I don't really fully know how to use it yet. So that's why I'm not really using it. But I do use soft light a lot, like all the time, for my shading, even to add a little highlights. I tend to also use color dodge, but right now I'm just like rendering out her face. I use textured brushes. Well, I think I use I have a set of textured brushes that I got, and I use them, so it gives a more, more natural feel versus like a silky, glossy feel. Maybe another reason why I feel that, because my iPad is shiny and sort of has like a glare, I guess, but it is glossy. But I've always liked having texture in my digital art since I started it like last year or so. This is me just trying to figure out where the shadows hit. I mean, I do have the reference photo that I'm looking at, but there's also certain things like I like to add for my own so that it's the way it renders, I guess. I like to add shadows like certain places my way, even though it might look super not how the screenshot looks. Like, obviously it's not already gonna look like that because it's in my style, but yeah, I'm trying to do the best I can with it, and usually it looks like a mess originally because I do start with the face and only the face is rendered. Like right here, I like to add like blush and such to give a little warmer color. So usually when only one part of the art piece is rendered, it doesn't look that great, especially when I do it. So usually it comes better or closer together when more than one thing is already rendered. So I chose this color of lips for Sabrina because she usually likes a bright color, almost closer to a red. But the one I was using earlier, it was bright, but it looked like a super bright orange, where her colors are usually darker, like reddish maybe. At least that's how I feel. So that's why I picked out this color. And another thing I learned is that depending what colors are around it, the color changes. Both its like pigment, saturation, things like that. Here I'm trying to give definition to the hair by having lighter and darker parts of it. Like I said before, hair is kind of hard just because it has so much, the way light hits it is very unique all around because there's so many hair strands and light bounces in so many different directions. But yeah, right now, like, I really enjoy drawing her. She was really fun. She's like really fun to do, and maybe it's because a lot of it comes with the whole personal attachment to my childhood. But yeah, basically just being able to put her in my style is super awesome because I never thought I would even be at the level to even try to attempt her. This layer right here, I'm currently using Color Dodge to give it like a nice shine and spark. Yeah, like basically a shine to how the light hits her. I finally like colored in the pupils, or is it irises? I think pupils of the eyes to be darker so they shine out a little bit more, which gives a more direction to her eyes, even though her color eyes are already dark. So now I'm just trying to, so basically this is the task of me just trying to finish Sabrina off and do her clothes and everything, and possibly do the background. At this point I'm still like not sure if I'm gonna do it, but basically it was really fun. I thought originally that she was wearing like a denim jacket, so I was trying to do a lot of texture, but then I rewatched the episode and it was actually like a leathery jacket, which I guess here it could look as either, even though I was going for a denim look. So yeah, part of it is completely dark because even in the screenshot there's no light where that part of the jacket hits, and right now I'm just adding that little pink is for like the reflection of the surroundings reflecting off her jacket. I think it's called like ambient light. Don't fully take my advice on what all the vocabulary is because I'm also still learning and I have never been that great with vocabulary. So yeah, this is basically how my Sabrina looks. I am adding a little highlight to the hairband because it also hits the hairband as well as her hair there, so I wanted to show that glistening shine right there. whew. Yeah, as this keeps going on, I'm just tweaking little things with Sabrina to make her look closer to what I also imagine her to sort of look like, as well as what's it called? Be close to true to the screenshot of the series. So right now you see me like outline the lines a little, and that's because initially I never colored my lines. They would always be like black or a dark black, well, not dark black, but a dark brown or whatever, a darker color. And you technically shouldn't ever use black unless it's like maybe a comic, because a black and or white is such a strong color. Some people don't even think it's a color, but whatever, I grew up knowing it as a color. So basically, because it's so strong, it leads the eyes to everywhere, which makes you lose focus in a way. So that's why I started to color my lines. And at first I was like, it's okay, but now it's like it became a habit, and I like it, especially when you have to have it hit certain places. Right now, I think it's just me trying to add shadow, like extra shadow, like the mood shadow. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm using multiply here, and I never really learned how to properly use it. So this is where I feel like I'm starting to kind of mess up. I don't know. I like how, oh no, that was soft light. Yeah. So I use soft light twice now because I tried multiply and it didn't work how I kind of wanted it. I don't know, it just doesn't look fully how the screenshot is, and it feels like it felt really muddy to me, but I kind of didn't know how else to set the mood. Yeah, so sometimes you, like, at least at whatever skill level you are at, I say just keep trying, because no one learns by not trying, and this is me clearly struggling to properly figure out how to layer and set mood. As you can see, I took the whole outline away because I was like, nope, I'm not doing background. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Possibly. But should I actually push myself and do background? Because, you know, maybe I should. Or am I just a crazy? I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking and testing things out. As you see, I slowly pop it back in, and I decide to give it a shot. Honestly, this is me recolor picking to see what will give off that gold. I think it's like a golden bronzish color in the screenshot. So I do decide to take on the challenge, and boy was this a challenge. Not because I don't tend to do background, so even though I have a reference and everything, I'm still it's still hesitant to me to go out of my comfort zone. But that's just how I am. I am glad that I took up this challenge and decided to work on the background, because I think it turned out pretty well, honestly, for where I'm at. And maybe I'm giving myself so much slack saying like, oh, I'm still, getting used to this whole thing, and I'm trying, so it's pretty good how it is. But no, honestly, I like how it turns out, because I'm kind of like really analyzing. At least I feel like I was super analyzing how the light would hit a certain spot. The reason why I felt like the way I was coloring was pretty good, whatever, is because I also have a wood, like an old wooden antique from my dad. It's like sort of like a closet or a chinaware, whatever, and it has similar ridges, so whenever I used to dust it to clean it, there was always certain ridges that you can't fully get unless you get an ear swab or something to really clean it out. So this kind of reminded me of that and helped me take that life experience of cleaning and to properly maybe darken this. So I feel like I was kind of happy I had that and able to apply it to this art piece so that it would stand out better, I guess. Yeah, that was pretty fun for me to do, even though I'm not very into backgrounds as much right now. It is something I do want to challenge myself for this year, which is why I'm doing this kind of challenge. But at the same time, I was just like, oh, okay. Cleaning does come in handy sometimes, besides, keeping your house clean. Here I'm just like figuring out how this should look, which as I'm looking, it's looking pretty good, I mean, you can tell me if it's looking bad. You can comment saying like, hey Mumu, you suck, learn how to draw. And I'll try and go and learn how to draw, as long as you give me like advice. This is me trying to draw like the red blood or whatever it is on this, but clearly I'm struggling. I'm using like a really textured brush because it's like dried blood, and I feel like dried blood looks like a darkish red in a way. So yeah, this is basically how I'm taking up this challenge to do it. I feel like I actually did a pretty good job in a way. So what else is... Oh, I'm adding a little overlay to give it that the mood. But now that I go back, I feel like I shouldn't have done it. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I don't know. I'm still don't know how to make, like, I still don't know how to create that proper mood. It's not bad. It's just like she looks a little muddy to me, and I feel like I think I eventually fixed that a little bit. But yeah, this is basically the final of how she turns out. If you guys like it, hate it, give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, dislike. This is the screenshot. Leave a comment below, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!